on, guys? Back for another video. I'm gonna try to just squeeze one in again. I have a customer that wants a upper coolant hose for a Mk3 Supra. So I'm just gonna kind of do a rundown of how I fabricate it. I tried making a video about this a long time ago, but I had an issue with music in the background and stuff like that, so I just deleted it instead of trying to edit it out, because it ended up cutting my audio out for like my voice, so it was just easier to delete it. So I figured I have to make another one. Let's redo it. So for starters, the hose I make, I do sell them. It's on my website. I'll put it in the bio. It's for the Mk3 Toyota Supra 7M GE or GTE. It is the upper coolant hose here. I don't know if you guys follow me or if you've seen them before, but I will show a picture of it here on the screen. Some of you probably seen it, some of you probably haven't, but I fabricate everything myself for the motor. So I figured, I had people texting me, oh, you want to make this or you want to make that. So I just built a website and I just started selling stuff. And usually if somebody wants something custom, I look into it, give them a quote, and if they want to do it, move on with it. So today we are going to be getting the new bandsaw put to use from Harbor Freight, or bandsaw stand. I got the Milwaukee bandsaw, but I have yet to use their stand for it, where you can actually use it as like a chop saw. It's really nice. Got my angles and everything on here. It's gonna be nice because I cut pie cuts, and I've always had to cut pie cuts with cutoff wheels. So total pain in the ass using cutoff wheels, but I think it was time to upgrade, and I spent the 120, 130 bucks or whatever it was for the stand. And it's a universal stand, so it fits Milwaukee, DeWalt, whatever, I think Harbor Freight's Hercules or whatever you call it. So I'm glad it fit mine. I'm glad we got it all worked out. I got the new welding station figured out, put down a piece of aluminum. So let's get into walking through this and cutting down some pipe. Okay, so first things first, I used, if I can actually remember, I want to say this is 1.5 OD. Yeah, 1.5 OD for the upper coolant hose on a Toyota Supra. This is 304 stainless. What I have to do first is I just have a bad cut end, so I'm going to cut it off so I have a clean cut, and then I will eventually start cutting. I'll show you guys how I cut the angles. Usually I do about a 15-degree angle, and I do it about ×4, I believe, ×5, just enough to make a 90-degree turn. So let's get this clamped down and get it cut. Okay, so when I bought the stand, I didn't think about it, but I should have bought, I believe there's a clamp that you can put here for clamping down, which a tong vice grip works just fine. It holds it right where I need it. So I got this cut off straight. So what I'm going to show you now is on this for doing pie cuts. So I don't necessarily have a tool for this. Sometimes they make a tool where you can slide it over and put a marker in it. I'm just using a little bit of a spacer with a Sharpie, and then I'm just going to drag it down. So you guys obviously can't see it, but there's one line there, and then you spin this so it's at another 180. Make sure you check and make sure that your line is, directly through. And then what you do, take your marker again, draw a line on the other side. And as you can see here, it's got the Sharpie line, 180, other Sharpie line. So that's one way to do it. And then I'll show you how to cut it. So as you guys can see on the stand, it's got numbers. I wish it had a little bit more. I would probably end up spending a day and go through here, and I might engrave some smaller marks for degrees. But here's your 45, here's 30, and I want a 15. So I'm going to just kind of guesstimate my distance, which is right about there. I kind of want it in between 10 and 15. So having it in that area works with me because it's always different. And then you'll take your black line here, if you can see that, and you have that directly vertical. And then you set your saw up to where it will want to actually cut it. And then what you do is you cut this out. So you'll cut on top of this line. Once you cut it, you rotate the pipe 180. So as you can see, 15-degree cut. And now what you'll do, take this, rotate it to where that other black line is on top. Come over here, line it up where you'll be able to cut it with some meat to weld to. And then you repeat the process of this as many times as you need until you have all your clamps or all your pie cuts. So my hardest part is this stupid pipe getting mounted in here. Next investment is going to be the actual clamp that goes right here for just mounting everything a little bit easier. Okay, so once you get all your pie cuts made, I have a belt sander, which helps a lot. A lot of people, you can do it by hand. Belt sander definitely comes in handy. This is a 120 grit. I use it to clean up the burrs. So like as you can see, it's got that one hanging off. If you hold this here, it'll take it all off, give it a cleaner cut, cleaner edge. Really nice for TIG welding, because for TIG welding, the closer your pieces are together, like the flatter they are, the better, because you're gonna have way better time getting them to make contact. So let's get these all sanded down, and then we'll jump into welding the 90-degree, and then we'll go into your actual neck from the radiator to the water neck. Okay, so once you get these cut, I cut 5. I want to say it takes about 4, but it doesn't hurt to have an extra. As you can see, they are perfectly flat. You got your bevels, no burrs. I don't have a tool for it, but they have a deburring tool. It's like a little hook. You can spin it around and deburr. But I just use a file on edge. I mean, it works for now. I just haven't got around to ordering one. So what I normally do is I'll get these tacked up, and then I will add about a, I believe, 1.5 inch piece on the end of one of them, so that way I can roll the end, because I have a bead roller. So you bead roll it, and then I weld that on there, and then you'll have, I believe it's roughly 11 inches, 12 inches for the piece that goes off the corner to the actual filler neck on the motor. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to cut a straight piece for rolling the end on, and I usually cut it a little bit longer just because I need to have that room on the bead roller. So I'll cut this and then get everything tacked. I'll bead roll that, and then I cut the very end, the longer piece, last, because I have to fill in the gap basically between A and B. So let's get this cut out. Okay, so I cut off this piece. It's just a random length. I'm only going to use probably about 1.5 inches, but I have this bead roller. It's originally for aluminum piping, for intercooler piping, off of Amazon. I want to say it was like 60 bucks, but I overuse it and use it for stainless. It works, it just takes a little bit longer. So what I do is I usually lubricate it just because it definitely has a lot of load under it. Now, I'm gonna be honest, this thing is an absolute pile of shit, but it works. Just takes maintenance. Like, this always comes loose. This always comes off. It's really just a pain more than anything, but I got it for dirt cheap off Amazon, so it works. But as you can see, I have a beaded end on there, so what I'll do is I'll leave this separate, put that off to the side, tack weld these to make a 90, and then figure out my distance between the radiator and what degree of 90 I need. So like, obviously if I put this on here right now, if I were to put that there, put my 90, it's gonna be really close to the timing cover. So I believe I only use about an inch. So, and then 90 will be here, and I'll just need the length between the two. So let's get all suited up and get this all tack welded. Okay, so I got my TIG welder all set up. Here are my pie cuts. What I'm going to do is, I have the Sharpie lines on here a little bit still. It's kind of hard to see for you guys, but what I normally do is I line up at least two of the lines. They won't always line up with each other because of it being a different angle. So like, it's really, really hard to see, but you have your two Sharpie lines. I usually just line up at least two of them, and that's how I use it as my angle. So I'd use that, and then I'm going to tack weld it. So that piece is tack welded, and then you just keep adding on to it. I try to stick to the same Sharpie line on the same side. So like, since I have the two Sharpie lines on this side, I'll match the third one. So that way it's even all the way around. So let's get to tacking these up. So as you can see, got it all tack welded. It's kind of hot. So what I'll do is I will take this now and take it over to the car, figure out the length I need to cut off of this, and then I'll figure out the length from here over to the water neck. So let's get that done. Okay, so I brought this stuff over here. So what I'm going to do is figure out the length I need to cut off of this. So obviously, if I run it like that, that's way too long. So that pushes it way out up against the timing gear. So normally what I do is I just kind of hold it, mock it up and see, which it looks like it just needs to basically be cut right at your bevel mark here, right on the edge, which will be perfect because that'll put the weld kind of hidden underneath the hose still. So let's get this all cleaned up. Okay, so I got this all tacked. I got the flared end on there, as you can see. Now it lines up with that. So what I'll do is I will clamp this here and then just get a measurement between A and B and then weld that on there or tack it, fit, check everything. And then what I do is I'll wipe this all down with some acetone, clean it all up really nice, get all the lettering off of it, because most of my buyers like the rainbow welds, like that look. They look like this when they're all done. They have like that little bit of a design to it. So let's get to finishing this up. the pipe all finished up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that a little bit. I'll show you a quick video of the pipe. I'm not gonna mount it on the car just because I don't have any silicone or hose to use. But here is it mocked up just by holding it. Left a little bit of room for some wiggle room. So pretty clean fit. I got HG Customs on there. It's all TIG welded and everything. Definitely beats the stock rubber hose. I do sell these, like I said in the beginning of the video, so I'll put the website in the description. If you're interested in one of these, I also sell the front-facing intake. I sell the mirrors. I sell all kinds of shit for Mk3 Supra. So if you're ever interested, place an order or shoot me a DM on Instagram. The DM will be, or the Instagram will be up here. So always open to talk about whatever questions you guys have or custom orders, whatever you want to do. So appreciate you guys watching. It was nice to test out some new tools and get to build one of these again. So check you in the next video.